So if you guys saw my community tab today, you probably saw I have a new logo for the channel. It is, of course, this one right here. First stop, Bengals. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off right away, I wanted to go ahead and give my way too early predictions for this upcoming season when it comes to stats. Every year now, I go ahead and take a look at every single player, and I predict how well they're due for this upcoming season. So starting off right away for Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty, I think he's going to hit 5,000 yards this season. The closest he has ever hit to 5,000 yards was 4,600 yards, which I believe was in his second year in the NFL. But I think it's very possible he does hit 5,000 yards. 41 touchdowns, I think that's a fair, rough estimate of what he will get. And then 2 rushing touchdowns as well. For rushing yards, again, I'm very high this year on Zach Moss and on Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown will be the future of this team, and I think he will give us a lot of, happiness in the near future. I know going from what he had last year to 1,200 yards is a very big leap, but like the leaping tiger does, I'm going for it. So 1,200 yards, I think he'll have by the end of the season. 7 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. I'm sorry, 1 receiving touchdown. 250 yards receiving, and I think Zach Moss will have a great season at 850. But I think Chase Brown will really take a step forward this year, and I'm very excited to see how he blossoms. 12 touchdowns, by the way, for Zach Moss, though. For receiving, Chase will lead the pack at 1,350 with 14 touchdowns through the air. Higgins, 750 yards with 6 touchdowns through the air. Irwin, 250 yards, 1 touchdown. Here's the issue we're going to have. And I'd say it's actually a good issue to have, but it's an issue when it comes to stat predictions. Is Irwin, Gesicki, Tanner McLaughlin, if he does end up making the channel, it makes up the team here. All of these guys are slot guys. Chucky as well, Chuck Sizzle. They're all slot guys. So it's like, if there was one main slot guy, like Tyler Boyd, that's the guy, right? Then I could be, okay, this guy's going to have this amount of yards. But because there's so many options in the slot, it's just going to be like a, throw the ball frenzy. Like, there's so many options to throw the ball to. So that's why it's like, again, I have outside of T, I have Irwin, who I think is going to line up in the slot mostly this year, which he usually does. Chuck Sizzle, 1 total yard, really utilizing him. Gesicki, who lined 70% in the slot last year for the Patriots, and also he did it with Dolphins. 550 yards, 8 touchdowns, and then Tanner McLaughlin, 200 yards and 0 touchdowns. He makes the roster. Again, all slot guys. Now, outside guys, we have Irwin, who I have, Yoshi, who I have 550 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think he's going to take a huge leap up this year as well. Jermaine Burton, our rookie, I think he'll have a pretty decent year. I don't think he's going to have a spectacular year, but I think with all the mouths to feed in Cincinnati, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get him the ball as much, but 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, I think that's a pretty damn good year for a rookie, especially with the fact of how many mouths there are to feed. For a tight end group, and also, as I said before, Chuck Sizzle, 1 total yard, in case you missed that one. Anyway, though, for Drew Sample, I have him get 125 yards. He's going to be a fullback this year, so it's not like he's really going to be catching the ball that much. Tanner Hudson, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Eric All, 200 yards and 0 touchdowns. Again, Tanner McLaughlin, if he makes the roster, 200 yards base. So that's offense. Now let's talk about defense. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, okay? B.J. Hill is going to have 8 interceptions. I know that number is very low, okay? And I wanted to be a little bit more conservative about the number because I didn't want to reach, okay? I didn't want to go crazy and say he's going to have like 50 interceptions because obviously not true. But I think 8 interceptions is very doable for B.J. Hill. It's one of those situations where, he has to be in the right place at the right time. But last year, there was a period of time where he was on a 3-game stretch where the guy was getting interception a game. So, I think 8 is a lowball number, but I think it's a very reasonable number, okay? So next thing I have here is I think Hendrickson will have a fantastic season, which will probably make more of the whole "I want to be traded" crap at the end of this season. Nonetheless, though, I think Miles Murphy's going to have a really good sophomore year. And I know not a lot of people are going to be high on him going into this year. Some people are going to love him. Some people are going to, say he's a bust, whatever. I think he's going to have a really big step up, and I think he's going to have an explosion into this year. I have Rankins getting 8 sacks. I have B.J. Hill getting 5 sacks. Jenkins getting 4.5 sacks. Sam Hubbard 7. Sample 4. And Joseph Asai 2. Interceptions outside of B.J. Hill's very low number I have Joseph Asai getting an interception. And I know that's a random thing because he hasn't gotten one in his career so far. I just got this random feeling like something's going to happen. Ball gets tipped up by Logan Wilson, and Joseph Asai is just in the right place, right time. For our linebackers, I have Pratt and Wilson here. I have Wilson getting 4 interceptions and Pratt getting 1 interception. For our safety/corners, Cam Taylor-Britt, I have getting 7 interceptions on the year. I also think he's going to have like 2 or 3 touchdowns. I just had this random feeling like he's going to have a really good year, like almost to a point of career-breaking year. DJ Turner, 3 interceptions. Again, another guy we really need to see have a good sophomore season. Mike Hilton, I think he's going to have 2 interceptions. Josh Newton, I think he's going to have 1 interception. Dax Hill, now in the cornerback slot position, 4 interceptions. Geno Stone, new pickup from the Ratbirds, 8 interceptions. Jordan Battle, 2 interceptions. And Von Bell, 1 interception. So that's kind of where I'm looking at when it comes to this. And I just realized I thought I made this a color. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I didn't make that a color. But that's what I'm looking at when it comes to my early prediction for stats. Again, keep in mind, anything could happen. Some players will make the roster, some players won't make the roster. It's very possible going into this next year, after June 1st cut dates, we end up picking up a new third string running back. And Travion Williams isn't even on the roster, right? It's very possible there. Very possible Tanner McLaughlin doesn't make the active roster in the end. So we're going to have to wait and see how things turn out. But again, this is just my rough estimate of how I think things will go at this moment in time. So if you have any, disagreement, definitely tell me down below. Say, hey, man, I don't think, Joseph Asai will have an interception this year. I think that's crazy. That's outrageous to say. Or, anything else. You think Jermaine Burton might have 1,500 yards and be the best, third-round draft pick to ever grace the earth, then definitely tell me that down below as well. Because, again, very interested to kind of see what you guys are feeling at this point when it comes to some of these predictions. But I'll see you guys in the next one.